This is Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate, and here are some tips for those starting the game. First, we're going to look at bonds. By playing as different characters, you start to accumulate bond points between each other. And once certain characters have reached max relationship level, you'll unlock an additional stage. Upon clearing this additional stage, you'll also unlock another character or two. There are other ways in which bonds can be increased between characters, but those options come later in the game. Once you complete a stage, you'll return to camp, where you can talk to the Blacksmith, who offers a variety of different services. Right now we're looking at the different weapons that can be purchased. Early on in the game, he offers a lot of 1-star weapons, but there is also 2-star and big star weapons that can be purchased. It is best at this stage in the game to stay away from big star weapons due to their enormous price point and their lack of any special ability that is useful this early in the game. I would stick with 2-star weapons and purchase a 2-star weapon for every single character that you unlock, or at least the ones that you use most often. You can sell 1-star and 2-star weapons back to the Blacksmith for a small profit. But I would hold off on selling every single weapon that you're not using. Some of them may contain attributes, and it's best to hang on to those and use them for weapon fusion. As you can see, I'm going to take 2 1-star weapons that I'm not using, and I'm going to bond them into a 2-star con blade for Zushu. I have no use for these 1-star weapons, but rather than selling them, I'm going to take their abilities and put them in my 2-star weapon. Weapon fusion is very, very important, especially later on in the game, and it's best to start this early. It is best to accumulate as many abilities as you can in a weapon, so that way you can fuse them into a more powerful weapon later in the game. Again, I would do this for every single character, or at least the ones that you primarily use most often. Now we're going to look at all the different characters that are available to play as. There are a lot of characters in Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate. There's over 120, and you're going to unlock one every single stage that you complete. It can be a little daunting. There's a lot of different characters, especially some of the more radical looking ones. It can be a little daunting, but what I would do is I would experiment with different characters, especially if you're new to this type of game or the series. Each one plays a little bit differently, and it's best to find one that suits your playstyle. With over 120 characters, there are going to be some that you're going to like, and there's some that you're not going to like, so it's best to play around a little bit and see which ones really suit the way that you play. Power characters such as Zhu Hong can dish out damage even as they're taking it, and characters such as Zushu can double dash away from danger, and they're very, very useful when you get surrounded by a big mob of enemies. Once you get your group set, make sure that they're leveled properly. What you need to do is go over to the distribute growth points option, and you can actually level up your characters without taking them through the stage. Once you complete stages, you'll earn growth points, and they can be used to level up your character. This is very, very useful, and it saves a lot of hours of grinding. So as you can see, I leveled Zhu Hong from level 1 to 13, so that way he's ready to go into the next stage. Before you go into the next stage, however, make sure that they have the right weapon equipped. There's nothing more frustrating than going into a stage and realizing that your character doesn't have the right equipment. So make sure that you have your items and the right weapon equipped. And once you get this done, it is best to save. The game sort of has an autosave option, but that's only after you complete levels. It is best that anytime you go in the camp and either fuse weapons or purchase weapons, save manually. You do not want to go into the game and quit and then realize that you wasted all that time for nothing. Once you get into the stage select, you'll see that there's an option for a recommended team for each stage. This isn't quite as necessary as you might think. Don't be intimidated by this. There are some things that happen during the stage that make the game recommend a certain character. For instance, I'll call this guy Boy Wonder in this stage. But Hanabe, he's recommended because he triggers a special event with Zhaju here. I can't pronounce his name properly. I'm sorry. If you have him as a character, you can go directly to Zhaju and talk to him and get this event started quickly. Otherwise, you have to guide him there. It's not really that big of a pain in the butt, but that's why the game recommends that. As far as gameplay goes, I would save your musou attack when you get surrounded. As you can see here, it is best to use that attack exactly when you get surrounded because they can do a lot of damage and clear everyone. When your meter at the bottom, that little circle bar fills, activate your triple attack ability by holding down left trigger and right trigger. Then just run around, run into enemies, and you'll execute this powerful attack that'll take out most enemies, even some officers. As you can see, I use this on a great deal of enemies, and I actually completed the stage. It's very, very useful, and I would do it as many times as you can because it can also accumulate gems and items. Those are a couple of beginners tips for Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate. I hope you found these useful. With the game appearing on Xbox Live Games with Gold, there's going to be a lot of new players in here, but there's not a lot of information on how to start this game, so I hope you found this video useful. This is Huey Chewy, and I'll see you later.
Take out the next guy, and you've rescued his son, so all you need to do is go outside and just finish the mission as normal.
For this is simple. Visit 10 different Pokestops in 30 minutes, and the 10th Pokestop will reward you with double experience and items.
Oh my God.
Running away. Mike, you're